Hello, I am live. Don't know how live I am. I'm fairly live. So I'm just going to make some slight alterations with what I'm doing. Where am I? No, can't find my thing. Right. Just bear with me while I'm making adjustments. Oh, so that's as zoomed as I can get. Now, is it because I need wide angle? I don't know. On today, and I'll just explain it. By the way, this is a video test for some new lights that I've got, which look as though they're working really nicely. It is night time here, and the lights I normally use cast a really bad shadow, whereas that's reasonable. The LED lights, these, so they should be a lot better. Don't know if I've got anybody. Hello, one person who's watching. Is I've got one of these mask micro distributors, and you put your masking fluid in there normally, and it creates very thin lines for you. But what I've used that for is I just put water in it. I wet the area totally with a spray gun like that, and blob down bits of colour in various areas. And then once I blobbed it all down and it started dispersing, I used the water bottle, this thing, to do all the lines, and the colours themselves bled into the various lines that I were doing, like that. And it's created a very interesting abstract pattern, and you could layer over that with various other colours. But something else that I've done with this bottle, the proper use for it is masking, and I don't know whether you can see that. If I just move it a little bit like that, you can see that there's a layer of mask on there. So just for a few minutes, I'm gonna throw some water on it, and we'll see what we can do with that. Although I must just change my water because that's not very good. So, hi Susan. I'm just going to change my water. I'll be back in a second. Oh, so after that slight interlude, what I'll do is I'll get on with it. So I'm going to spray this area thoroughly, and using a little brush like this, which I'll wet. I've got this little, and these I got sent this by a friend called Lisa, and they're it's a tablet holder, but it's got little samples of Daniel Smith's paint in it. So I'm going to use that because there's not enough to do a full painting. I'm just going to wet it up. And I wonder if I need a little bit more water in this. That should didn't seem to be wanting to flow very well. That so this should be interesting because it's got an awful lot of masking fluid on it. So we'll see how that goes. Well, it's nice of you all to be here, and I was just testing my lighting, but I'm doing a little bit of repainting to see what does the colours look like. Do you think they're nice, guys? Just a little playing around, so I know that I'm getting my colours right and everything. I can't actually show you. I'll do a photo of it later on, but if you're looking behind the paint that I've done, there's an awful lot of masking fluid. So I'm really trying. So what I'm going to do is, although I shouldn't do it like this, because that means it's going to have a red in it. I'm going to suck up some of this. If it works, come on, work. Patience, Ian. Then put that back on it. And this should work like a squirty gun. Hello, Shannon, and everybody who's coming in. So literally what I've done is put loads of water on, drop some paint in, and then this has got water in it, and I've squirted it. Now I'll just get, if I can find, where is my trusty, because it can get a little bit wet, this. So I'm going to take bits up, and then Universe starts texting me. There you go. Bling, 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 bling. 24 hours a day. Who wants it? So, hopefully this might be a nice background for something. So just imagine that we're living in an alternative universe and that's all dry. But it isn't, is it really? So I'll try and mop up a bit more and speed up the process a bit. I still do need a little bit of water on that for when I do my next layer. Now I want it to interact and run into it, so I'm gonna get my blue now. I'm really happy with the just a second. Hey Joey, I'm really happy with the light setup that I've got with it because it's showing mostly the true colours, and it's late at night here in the UK, and my lighting that I were having before were casting an awful lot of shadows. So I'm really glad that you can be here with us and see this process because I like doing this. It's very freeing sometimes doing stuff like this. See if I can. The paints I've got here were kindly donated to me by Lisa Swank from in the USA, and the Daniel Smiths, and they're lovely. To the extent that I might even go out and purchase some of them. Although in the UK, they're extremely expensive. And I don't just mean expensive, I mean extremely expensive. So yeah, I'm loving this. So what I want to do now is, I don't want, you're starting to get pooling round there, so although some of that's nice, I want to cut it off at certain areas. And at this stage, unfortunately, that's where I'll have to leave that until it dries. So let me put that to one side carefully. Put that to one side and let that dry for a bit. No, that's not a great place to put it. Put that there. We'll come back to that. I've got a dry one here that I've been doing earlier, and again, that's that process where I put paint down, and well, let's have a go, because this needs a second coat now. So let's wet it again. So it's all reactivated, and then drop it on like that. Why not? I want to make that a little bit more intense in the centre. All right, let's pick some water up. Put this back on. And by the way, this it's a normal standard dispenser, dispenser for masking fluid that has a thin nib, but it's got an extra bit on it, so that you can do super fine masking work. But I'm just using water for this to redistribute it. So you go like that, and it helps you. It helps you create some really nice abstract areas. So now I can go back over it with a stronger colour again and just touch it in certain areas. And generally where I've squirted like that, it will follow it. Still don't feel intense enough in the centre there, so I'm going to put a really strong amount in it. So and again, it's a matter of leaving this one. Hi, Danina. So what I've been doing is just for the sake of those of you who I wet the paper with one of these, and then I splattered bits of paint on it, and then I've squirted like that, I don't know whether you can see it, but it's making patterns. It's using the paint up and making patterns in the direction where I'm squirting it. So again, this is another one that I'm going to have to leave for a while. But what I will do is later on, I'll take photos and I'll post the finished images. What I do want to do is maybe take a little bit out of that, mop up a bit here and there, not everywhere. Just take up an awful lot of Yodi toilet roll. Oh no, I'm down to my last one. Now we're going to save that for later. Oh well. I don't know. I mean, this kind of thing. I don't know whether you'd used it for your books and your things like that. But how is the stream going, by the way? Can you let me know? Because really, this is a test to have a look at my new lights and take into account that it's night time here and there's minimal lighting, and yet I can still get a reasonable light. But what I'll do now for the time being is I'll just show you one or two little bits of projects. Oh, and at the moment, here's another abstract that you can have a look at. There you go. That's a pretty similar kind of thing. I'm just not quite happy with well, not quite right. Right, let's have a quick look at one or two pictures that I'm actually in the process of. I won't be a second or two if I can find where I put them. That's one. Wait a second, guys. If I can find. Have I put it? Well, at the moment, I can't find the one that I wanted to show you, but I have got this one that I'm in the process of doing. This is called Iron Bridge. Now, I've got to draw all the delicate detailing in, and that's where, when I come to the painting, I'll be using this and the masking fluid. So I'll be doing a lesson on that, specifically looking around this bit of the building where all this metal work will be. So that's one to look out for. Although I will be doing the entire painting, the main point of the lesson will be how I handle this area, because a lot of that is very dark, but the outer area has got some very light areas in it. So what I'll be doing is masking that off and showing you how I can do that. So as far as it goes today, this is probably going to be as far as I go with it. But I will take photos of the end product. I've got to take the mask off the other picture that I've done, and I'll take photos of it and then you can see the finished thing. I may do other work over the top of it or do digital art. But thank you anyway for coming along, guys. It went up really easy, this video this time round, and no snags for a change. So, okay, thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of your art day. See you later. Bye.